Hello and welcome to PDFsupply.com. Today we're going to be testing a BBA104 Genius block. I have here part number IC660 BBA104, and what we're going to do is test all the functions and features of this block. First is the handheld monitor, that be the IC660 HHM501, that the port is working and it's able to configure the device. The serial port, which is serial 1, 2, shield in and out. This cable is connected to the Genius bus controller. The part number for that is IC693 BEM331, and that's attached to an IC693 CHS397 5-slot rack, being powered by an IC693 PWR330 power supply, and being controlled by an IC693 CPU374 processor. So those are the parts that we have that are working in this test. I have the block powered up right now, and what I'm going to do is, first in Prophecy Machine Edition, make sure that I have the same configuration in the Genius block as I do coming from the Genius bus controller. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I want to make sure that the port works and that it's communicating. As you can see right now, the I/O enabled LED is off. So my test here would be to try to get that on by making sure my configuration is the same as the Genius block when the CPU is in run mode. And when the CPU is in run mode, it should turn on the Genius block's I/O enabled light. And we should see that in just a minute here. Okay, so now the I/O enabled light is on. I'm going to show you how I did that with the handheld programmer. I'm going to turn this on here. I use the factory setting standards 153.6K standard baud rate. That's okay. It's passed. And I'm going to go to F3 configuration, F1 program block ID. And as you can see here, block number 1. And how I did that, again, I wouldn't change any of your settings if you're testing a block that's already set to work in the field. Just showing you how I test to make sure that these things are working. A block is F2. I'm going to use block number 1 and hit enter, F3. And then that's configured and the light's on. So that's how I got there. Go back to home. Configuration is F3, F2, configure block. Report faults, yes. I want all channels active because I'm going to test all channels. And then my scaling, again, I'll just show you one. They're all set to factory standard. The reason I do that also is because I want to make sure that all my readings are the same. If channels 1 through 4 are all set exactly the same, my readings should be all the same. Okay. And then the rest is my high and low alarm, again, factory setting. BSM present, no. No central redundancy. And my configuration is disabled. Configuration protection is disabled. Again, if yours is set, I would leave the protection enabled to protect it. All right. So the next thing we want to do is we want to analyze our input channels. All right. We always do input channels first. Analyze. Monitor block F2 for analyze. F1 for monitor block. And now we have our two digits there that we're going to see change in just a minute. I have also a 4 to 20 milliamp generator. The 2 probe leads that I'm going to touch to the inputs to get these readings. So, (4 to 20 milliamp) because this Genius block is a current source reading analog block. So for for input 1, which is input and common, we're going to get attached to these leads here in just a second. All right, now I'm in 18 and 19 is terminal 1, input 1, terminals 18 and 19. Input 2, in and common is 22 and 23, terminals 22 and 23. And we're going to use the F1 button to toggle over to inputs 3 and 4 so we can test those. Input number 3 is terminals 26 and 27. And input number 4 is terminals 30 and 31. All of my readings were just about 20,000 according to this, or just 20. And they're all almost exactly the same. That's what I'm looking for, is all of them to be the same because they're all configured the same. So that's a good test. Those channels are good. And go back to home. F2 for analyze. F2 for monitor and control. And we're going to toggle using F1 to go past input 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're on the output. And I'm going to put a figure of force, F2, 20,000. F3, enter. And then F1 to toggle over to output number 2. Force, F2, 20,000. F3, enter. And then I'm going to use F1 to toggle around again to output 1. All right. Now that those outputs are on, I need to check that they're giving the correct amount of power. In order to do that, I have a multimeter. It's another one of my test fixtures, a multimeter. And I'm going to set it for reading milliamp DC. All right, so we're going to turn this to milliamp and toggle this to DC. Okay. And then I'll tell you the terminals that I'm probing to get this information. And on the top of the Genius block, it's going to read out and return. But on the terminal side, the actual terminals you want to be touching is 11 and 12 for output number 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut off or release that 20,000 figure by pressing F4, release. And what I'm trying to do here is make sure that I was able to shut it off, because yes, it was on, but I want to make sure that when we're asking it not to be on, that it's able to shut off. Back to terminals 11 and 12, and we have a reading of 0,001. That's good. Output number 2, out and return. Terminals are 14 and 15. I have an accurate reading of 21. And I'm going to press release, F1 to toggle over to output number 2, F4 to release. My handheld monitor, again the IC660HHM501, gives me a reading of 0. So I should have a reading of 0 when I probe 4 and 5. And we're on them now, and there's nothing. So that works good. We're able to shut those off. Now, for your Genius block, for your test purposes, if you power up your IC660 BBA104 and you're unable to get any lights on, it's unable to power itself up, or another common problem we see is that the handheld monitor communicating with the device is unable to store information to it, or of course if any of your inputs or outputs are not working properly, then there's definitely something wrong with the block, and that is something that we do repair here. We offer exchange programs, new and remanufactured products with same-day shipping. So if that's something that interests you, please see us at pdfsupply.com. Thank you.